Hello today. Together, we will solve a mysterious case. It has shocked America in the 90s of the 21st century. He's a serial killer who acts like a ghost, has spread terror across many states. He didn't just commit crimes, but also blatantly sent a letter of challenge to the court. Each letter is accompanied by a drawing. A smiling face full of demons, as if they're mocking the impotence of the authorities. This guy is called the Smile Killer. So who is he? Can the police find out what happened? Next we'll go back in time. Back to the 21st of January 1990 to find out the details of the incident. January 2nd, 1991, a dreary Sunday. The Portland sky, Oregon, covered in a heavy gray as if to fall down. Tonya Bennett, a 2-year-old student wearing a raincoat, put on your bag and leave the house. She met you at a local bar to enjoy the relaxing moments of the weekend. Tanra is a free-spirited girl who lives with her mother in Poland. This city is famous for its 4-season climate. Wet winter, much rain. Summer is hot and dry. Portland is also known as the City of Roses. This place is very suitable for beautiful flower. One more thing that makes Portland a favorite: the low crime rate. Tanra often goes to the bars, and her mother wasn't very worried about that either. However, that night the family did not come home. At first, her mother didn't think much. Just think happy girls should sleep at your house, because this has happened before. But the next day, the mother was still silent, and the mother began to worry. An unwholesome feeling rises in my heart. She hurriedly called her daughter's friend to find out the situation. My friend told me that the night before, I played pool with some strange men at the bar. I was bored, so my friend left first to continue the fun with the Kia group. Where to go, my friend doesn't know. After listening to the mother of the Tun family, a vague fear began to creep through her mind. Elapsed time to be January. Tony has been missing for 2 days. Meanwhile, a man is driving along the highway of the Colombian Canyon. Suddenly, he wants to deal with his sadness, so pull over to the side of the road. After getting out of the car, he was shocked to discover a woman lying motionless in a nearby bush. Her eyes glowed with a white face. "You're obviously dead." The terrible scene made the man silent. When he regained his composure, he immediately called the police. Received the news. The police quickly arrived at the scene. The perimeter is set. The autopsy begins. The victim was a young woman wearing a long red sleeve, jeans and sneakers. Her right hand is up on her neck and there's a deep extract. The autopsy results showed the victim had multiple wounds on her body. There were signs of abuse before he died. The cause of death was asphyxiation. Time of death about 2 days earlier. The identity of the victim has not yet been determined. Police did not find the weapon, as well as any material. You can prove the girl's identity. The only clue is a torn piece of cloth from the victim's jeans. Many signs show this isn't the first crime scene. The killer was killed somewhere else, then bring the body here to fly time. Due to the location, there is no surveillance, so there's almost no clue. What benefits are found? The investigation was very difficult. The incident was reported in the media. The police are asking people to provide information. Tamra's mother watching the news on TV. "I felt a terrible insecurity. The victim's clothes. It's exactly what your daughter was wearing." She rushed to contact the police. After identification, the victim's identity has been confirmed. Is the patriarch to be 8 years old, known that the patriarch is an active girl, to make friends. Based on the information provided by the place mother, where the until family. That day it was a nearby interstate highway. Several years of friends of Tonza said to have seen her play with some strange men. The police found Tonza's friend. She testified that on the evening of January 2nd, people drink together at the bar. There were a few men who came to get acquainted and invite them to play pool. Tonza agreed, and her friend was bored and went ahead. I can't believe that Tonza has something wrong after that. Let's take a look at the map. This is the location of the bar where Tonya went missing. This is where the body was found. 2 locations 74 kilometers apart. It's quite a distance. The police went to the bar to visit the officers. Someone said he saw her leave the bar with a tall man after playing pool, but they couldn't see the man's face. Just remember that he's very tall, about 2 meters. The bar has no surveillance. The police investigation has not progressed. They made a public announcement. We're hoping to get a lead from the witnesses. However, more than a week later, police still not getting any valuable information. 13 days after the murder, the investigation finally made a breakthrough. The police got a call, a name from a woman. She said she knew who killed the entire family. His name is John Solopsky. The police are skeptical. We are still investigating John. According to information, John B.A. is 9 years old. He was arrested several times for drunk driving over the past few years. He doesn't have a job. It is stable and has a bad reputation. During the investigation, the woman Kia made to more phone calls. He urged the police to make a quick arrest. Under police questioning, the woman finally revealed her identity. Her name is Levetna John. The person she claims she is her current boyfriend. Levetna was 8 years old and had 2 husbands, but they both died of illness. She told the police that John is a monster that doesn't cause trouble. He bragged to you about it. They kidnapped Tom Ra at a rest stop on the interstate. State number of years in Poland. Then he gave it. Tom Ra goes to a historic site called Vita House, a place for visitors to rest temporarily. In the evening, this place is almost empty. That's where John violated Tom Ra and strangled her to death with a rope. Finally, he drove up to the Colombian Canyon and dumped roadside bushes. The Vetna give the police a piece of paper with their name on it and a few words. The writing on the piece of paper is very similar to John's. The police immediately went to John for questioning. However, he insisted that he was innocent and that it's all because the girlfriend slandered it. Then he agreed to do it. Lie test at the request of the police. In the process of answering a question related his heart rate and breathing rate increased. The test results show he's dishonest. However, according to the law, results are for reference only. Due to lack of concrete evidence, the police were forced to release the brittle. Loveda continues to provide an important piece of evidence. She held out a tattered piece of cloth. This is a piece of cloth that John tore from Tom's jeans to make booty. The police checked the cloth and noticed shape its size, quite similar to the tearing on Tom's jeans. They sent the cloth to the lab for analysis. More next. The police secretly mounted the recording device. I hope we can get information about the case from John in the conversation, but John is cunning. He didn't admit to anything. Not long after the test results, a piece of fabric from the lab was also sent back. Piece of fabric that Levetna doesn't match the fabric on Tomra's jeans. Levetna is suspected of fabricating evidence. Even so, police say John is the main suspect. But in the process of further investigation, they still haven't found any definitive evidence. During this time, the police accidentally discovered the reason Levetna denounced John's because their relationship was violent. John was frequently drunk and beat up Levetna wanted to break up many times, but John agreed. Maybe Levetna wants to end this relationship completely. So he blamed John in the Tom Ra case. There's a dubious point in Levetna's testimony. She said that the last place Tonja appeared at a rest stop on the interstate highway. Number of years. This is quite strange. According to the bar staff, Tonja was with a tall man. But that person is not a gun. The police have not made any move. Levetna suddenly gave a shocking information. She admitted, I was involved in the murder of the priest. According to Levetna's testimony on the night of the crime, she and John are stopping for a break at a rest stop on the interstate. Number of years in Poland. I happened to meet the Lord, a beautiful young girl. John took the initiative to get acquainted. After a conversation, John offered to take her home, and Tonya agreed without hesitation. You both get in the car. On the way, John had bad intentions and drove straight to Vita House. Originally, Levetna thought John was just kidding and wanted to scare the young lady a little bit. Things are out of your control. John drags Tom Ra into Vita House and Levetna stood by and saw it all. After the invasion, Tom Ra broke down and said he'd call the police. That John got angry and strangled Tonja with a rope. Levetna stood in silence. John ordered her to come closer for help. Fear of being killed, Levetna had to follow suit until Tonja died. Then they both carried Tonja's body, get in the trunk, and drive to Columbia Canyon. Drop the body in the bushes by the side of the road. To verify this testimony, police take Lavender, where Tomra's body was found, and asked her to point to the exact location. The results were amazing. Lavender was just right. The police arrested Lavender and her boyfriend, John, on murder charges. The police searched their car, but no trace of her was found. Lavender explained that they used a towel wrapped in his body again, then threw throw the towel on the side of the road. There was no trace in the car. The police arrived at the location. Lavender declared to look for the towel, but not found. News about the rapid arrest of Wideland. It's been widely reported in the media, especially the conversations around Lavender, a middle-aged woman with a gentle appearance. You can commit such a heinous crime with your boyfriend. 1 year after the incident, at the pre-trial hearing, Lavender has pleaded guilty and report the entire criminal process. We need to add that, at the time, Oregon law still carried the death penalty. But to the official trial, Lavender suddenly changed his testimony. Declare yourself innocent. This spectacular reversal made the judge and jury were stunned. Lavender testified that all previous confessions, all because she was placed. The goal is to get rid of the clinging. She said that John regularly warranted her. You can't take it anymore. I read the news of Tom's death out on TV. She had the intention to blame John. Let him go to jail. She called the police and gave them a name, deliberately imitating John to forge a piece of paper. It's called Tamra, and the confusing words Kia. Then Lavender wasn't convinced enough. So we tried to create more evidence. She thought of the torn fabric on her jeans, Tamra, by TVI and the press. She was watching carefully the size and shape of the piece of fabric. She discovered a pair of her niece's old jeans have the same material. Cut a piece of cloth from those parts and peeling off for the police. However, the police have not arrested him yet. Lavender decided to take the risk. He said he was also involved in the case. She believes that with this testimony, the police will not be able to ignore it. But now, when standing in court and risk a lifetime in prison, Lavender began to feel fear and regret. Police showed that Lavender's testimony was unreliable. She has pleaded guilty several times. Even just the exact location where the body of the victim was found. That she suddenly changed her testimony. It's obviously to hide from sin, make up the lies. After a period of trial, the jury reached a consensus. The court declared defendant Lavender is guilty of first-degree murder. Lavender sentenced to life in prison. Not long after John's trial began, he's still complaining. However, when he learned that Lavender's girlfriend had been convicted, he realized it was hard to avoid the punishment of the law. So John took the lawyer's advice. Change of strategy. Use of non-controversial excuses. This is a kind of defense in which the defendant also did not deny the crime, but simply don't argue the allegations. In criminal court cases, usually not controversial, equivalent to pleading guilty, but it could help the defendant get a lighter sentence. The police agreed with John's version of the border. John was eventually sentenced to life in prison, driving for 15 years. I was lucky to escape the death penalty, with both of them in jail. The police thought the case was closed, but they didn't expect the real challenge is just beginning. March 1991, a strange event happens in Tanner's. In the toilets of a truck park, people have discovered graffiti related to the Raw case. That guy wrote a sentence. He claims to be the murderer of Raw. Next to this is a picture of a smiling face. Seems to be mocking the police's inability. Montana Police Department. Contact the Oregon Police Department immediately. Both sides think that this is just someone else's evil joke. The Tonza case caused a stir. Maybe this guy just wants to use it to get attention. With just a graffiti drawing. Can't prove anything. Time passed until March 1994. 4 years after the case, a court in Oregon received a letter written hand-named, who writes in a provocative tone. He claims to be the real perpetrator of the crime. In his letter, he described the process in detail. Through the handwriting test, the police identified writing in the letter. It matches the writing on the toilet at the front of the truck at Tanner's 3 years ago more. This letter also ends with a drawing, smiling face. This got the police to start paying attention. Sometime later, a newspaper in Tanner's house. I also received a similar letter. The letter also had a picture of a smiling face. The letter doesn't just mention the whole family. It also describes the location of the bodies of 6 other women. The author of the letter also said he could confess at any time. The newspaper immediately reported the incident to the investigation. The police discovered the location mentioned in the letter. They're all scenes of unsolved murders. There are also pending cases. The media quickly reported on the incident. Call this mystery the Smile Killer. At first they just thought it was a strange story, but after the police announced that a smile killer can be a killer, a lot of people are starting to get confused and scared. A symbol as simple as a smiley face. It's a symbol of innocence. Now it's a sign of a murderer. To spread terror to everyone. Pressure on the police officers' shoulders due to a lack of clues. The investigation has not yet made a breakthrough. It wasn't until a year later that the case suddenly changed. March 1995, body of 4-year-old Julie Winningham was discovered in a bush in the Colombian Canyon. The victim was naked and died. Police cordoned off the scene, but I didn't find any valuable clues. This isn't the first crime scene. The autopsy showed the victim was raped before she died. On the face and neck there are traces of adhesive tape. The victim was gagged with adhesive tape. The cause of death was asphyxiation. The victim's mother recalled that about half a month ago, in an early morning, her daughter led a tall man home. That man called himself Chris, a truck driver. Her daughter said that two people are dating and planning to get married, but then the mandarin never came to their house again. Then her daughter is missing until the police came. Julie's case. It reminded the police of Tom's case 5 years ago. He was also kidnapped by a tall man. More coincidence. Both bodies were found near the canyons of Lubia. This led the police to suspect that the man called the Mandarin is the real killer. The police investigation found that he sold his car at a used car market. The buyer is Chris, her boyfriend. The police found a contract between the two. However, the buyer's name, it's not Chris, it's Kate Hunter Jackson. 40 years old Canadian citizenship, working as a truck driver for a trucking company. He often moves under the Eagles. Operation is not fixed. He's a hard worker with no criminal record. His height is impressive, up to 2 meters, because there's no real evidence. The police did not want to alarm the suspect. They contacted the shipping company where to work and no. He is currently in CA. The next destination is Mexico. The police immediately headed to New Mexico. When you see the police, the ending was amazing. His face is pale. The police took him to the station for questioning and DNA The interrogation sampling lasted for 5 hours. Tried to have a relationship with Julie, but their relationship wasn't sustainable. You two often argue. The last time he saw Julie was over half a month ago. They were sitting in the truck. There's an argument about some small thing. Julie insisted on getting out of the car, and he had to agree. Then Julie left and didn't get back in touch. Being busy at work, he didn't actively contact you either, although I tried to shake off all my doubts. But the police noticed suspicious points in his testimony. She doesn't seem to care about Julie. I didn't ask Con about her situation. It's like talking about a stranger. Because there is no evidence, the police have to end it. Leave after the end of the interview. Before the end, a police officer give him a business card with a phone number on it. And speak with deep meaning. Call me within a week. Until then, we're removing you from the list of suspects or focus on investigating you. The police officer's words worked. A few days later, call him. But just a short sentence. You're right, I want to turn myself in and hang up. Before contacting the police. It's been a very long ideological struggle. They even think about doing something stupid. But he finally decided to turn himself in. I hope to be forgiven. The police have not yet announced the location of the crime, as well as some specific details of the case. The police think he could have killed Julie in the truck, even though Julie's killer has been found. But there's no conclusion yet on whether is it a smile killer or not. While waiting for trial, the police advised contact your family to report the incident. If it's not too late, they'll also know about his criminal behavior via television. He said he wrote a letter to me. My brother. Know this. The police immediately stopped the letter after considering. They found out that there were a total of 8 victims. The first victim was Tom Raw, who was murdered in 1990. The last victim was Jolie. In addition, 6 other women were also killed. These 6 people are the ones by the smile mentioned in a letter to the court, and before that, the police took DNA samples from those letters compared to DNA. The results are exactly the same. It turns out that Kia's challenge letters are all written by the end. There's no doubt about it. He is the smile killer. The police have been searching for so long, in the face of irrefutable evidence. Finally, he confessed to all his crimes. He's committed crimes all over the country. The other 6 victims were from different states. News about the killer's smile away from the net fast ran throughout the country. People immediately remember the pair of Lavender who were wrongly convicted in the Ton Rock case and is serving a life sentence. They're in prison now for years of outrage and demand their release. Finally, under social pressure and January 1996, the court annulled the sentences against Lavina and John. Both were released. The Lavina family was in tears. "When I saw you when you came out of prison," she was 64 years old, white hair. When asked by a reporter at SAU, "You're not the killer. They can show you exactly where to find body of the victim," Lavina replied, "I learned all the details of the case, press and television. When taken to the scene, I can see there's an area of bushes that's been cleared. I guess that's where the police clean up to serve the investigation. So I pointed to that area." The real killer. After pleading guilty, he confessed after the murder of Tunro. He noticed attention of the police and the media. It's all in Lavina, and cornered these two people who are clearly unrelated to the case, and it's getting so much attention. While he's the real killer, it's not noticed by the AI. This made him feel unsatisfied, so he painted graffiti on the toilet wall, writing letters to the court in order to get attention back. This confession is astonishing. After the crime, he still craves attention. This sick mentality is terrifying. The sinful way of the end. It has something to do with his adult life. Born in British Columbia, Canada. He has two brothers and two sisters. His father was a violent alcoholic, and his mother is a housewife. From small, the tree was ridiculed by the brothers and sisters for his father sees him as a thorn in his eye. He often used violence against him. He was the only child in the family close to his mother. Growing up in such a family environment, they become closed and self-deprecating. Then his family moved to Washington. Americans because of their bodies. You can't make friends. At school, he was ridiculed by his friends. They gave him the nickname Ego to make fun of his bizarre appearance. And eventually, there's a tendency to abuse animals. He likes to put two little animals in a cage, watch them fight to death. His father not only did not stop him, but also applauding. The 50-year-old met a boy named Martin. This is also his only friend. You two often mess together. Martin is a naughty kid. Always play games and blame for the end. So the two of you are constantly fighting. At the age of 10, he threatened to kill Martin. A year later, I went swimming. I had a chance to put Martin's head in the water. No matter how much Martin struggled, he wouldn't let go until the lifeguard gets the electricity to avoid a tragedy. These things can be seen from an early age. The end has revealed its aggressive character. He likes to control others in an unusual way. In the process of talking to the police, it's very coherent, articulate, doesn't seem self-deprecating. He looks the police in the eye, sometimes joking. He told police he was 54 years old. He was raped by an acquaintance, but he didn't dare say raw for fear that no one would believe him. After high school graduation, he quickly married and had 3 children with his wife. To feed the family. He's a truck driver. I thought life would go smoothly. Any doubt? A strange woman called his wife. His wife suspected him of having an affair. The couple's relationship becomes tense. 1990 to divorced 3 children live with their mother. To continue the work of truck driving, roaming all over the country, he quickly realized that this job is a shell, the perfect cover for his crimes. No more family ties. He started to let go of himself. 1990, at the age of 35, met her. A beautiful young girl at a bar in Portland, Oregon. He plays pool with you, then lured her back to her inn and violated her. Then two people had a fight. He strangled her to death with a rope. He threw his body out into the bushes by the side of the road and other items into the river and left Oregon. This is the first time a crime has been committed. He's both nervous and excited. This feeling has never been before. Give him the ultimate satisfaction. Not long after, and watching the news on TV and knowing has been found. But what? He was surprised that the suspect was not him. This makes him feel down. Clearly, he's the killer. But let someone else take all the glory. He was in Tanner's ass. So I painted graffiti on the toilet wall to try to get attention. But the police don't care. The more he thinks, the more angry he gets to the court and the press, attached according to the smiley face helplessness. After the first murder, it became more audacious. In the following years, he went on to murder 6 other women. Washington, California, Florida, and so on by the same trick. The victims are people who live on the fringes of society. Most of them are prostitutes who aren't interested in AI. So even if they're missing, it doesn't get much attention. Until 1995 when Julie's body The last victim was discovered. The police suspect the end. From 1990 to 1995. Within 5 years, he killed a total of 8 women. He knows that sooner or later, the police will find me too, and he's ready for that. But he doesn't regret what he did, because it gives him a sense of accomplishment. Now, the name Smile Killer is widely known. Everyone knows about him. That's what he wanted. 5 years after the incident, the trial began in many different states. He was eventually sentenced to for life terms and was incarcerated in Oregon State Prison. During his sentence, she was interviewed by a reporter. "It's amazing," is the end of disclosure. He told reporters that he had killed 160 people because there is no evidence. The authenticity of the testimony has not been verified. Many people think he's exaggerating the truth. He obviously wants to get the public's attention. It's perfectly suited to the likes to get his attention. The story of the Smile Killer. Jefferson's end is over. From a Bale outcast, it has become a sewing monster. Horror for society. His criminal journey. It's a reminder of turning on the dark human beings with the consequences of domestic violence and social indifference. This case also shows the importance of a thorough investigation to avoid innocent people being wronged, like Lavina and John. Even though the end has been properly punished, but the pain, what he did to the victims and their families, there will always be the story of the smile. It's a lot of thinking about human nature, about justice, and about the tragedies of life. Today's episode ends here. I'll see you in those 6 next box. Hello.